Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Historic Archetype, Runick.
Chapter 1.
And so in this video, I'm going to talk about Runick, how it has affected Yu-Gi-Oh! And what it's all about. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
And so here we are, as I talk about Runick. Runick is an archetype that consists mainly of quick play spells. And Runick is similar to Sky Strikers, one of only two decks that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes that primarily play just spells in their deck.
The truth you need to know.
Another archetype we're getting that will revolve around spells is, I think, the Mystical Space deck. But again, that only involves one monster, so it's only one spell. So it's only just Runick and Sky Strikers, right? Sky Strikers being a fan favorite and having loads of things that it can do. Now, these cards that you see in front of you are the main three cards that we find in Runick that are played mostly all the time. Runick Freezing Curses, Runick Destruction, and Runick Flashing Fire. Indeed, that is the case. And Runick have been one of the best engines that we've gotten in a while since they've been released. They've been the engine that's, we can say, has had the second, has had a long longevity in Yu-Gi-Oh! And has only died out because other things of another engine has come along, which is the Fiendsmith engine. But make no mistake, Runick has been a fantastic archetype, and in my eyes, has created one of the most skill-intensive decks of all time, which was Runick for Hire Sprite. Indeed, I feel, as a creation created by the community, Runick for Hire Sprite is the most skill-intensive deck I think as a community, we've ever created in Yu-Gi-Oh! The way that deck operates, having three separate archetypes that are not related to one another, yet are able to seamlessly merge and play in a cohesive and such a flawless playstyle of how everything integrates together in one seamless mesh is absolutely amazing when you think about it. And I think that's something that needs to be considered. To this day, I don't think community has ever created an archetype, a deck that has had three archetypes just slapped in together. Mostly, we have an engine, and then we have two archetypes there. But we don't usually have three archetypes just slapped in together, and we get a deck that plays itself. So that's something that really needs to be talked about when it comes to Runick. And the fact that Runick can just be put in a lot of decks, the fact that it not just facilitates an engine, but it facilitates so much more. An engine, synchro summoning, fusion summoning, there's so much potential that Runick gives archetypes. And it's something that definitely needs to be considered. And I think that's all I've got to say about Runick.
Final chapter.
And here we are at the conclusion. So what I want to say about Runick is that Runick is an archetype that has influenced Yu-Gi-Oh! When it comes to engine construction, definitely. I think since Runick's introduction, we are more willing to splice even more archetypes to each other and maybe increase that head count to 3. Runick has shown that if the engine is small enough, if the engine is flexible enough, you can put multiple engines or multiple archetypes into one archetype, and they can all seamlessly cooperate with each other. this ability and this way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh has definitely maxed out our creativity in Yu-Gi-Oh for the player base to never before seen heights. And it's definitely something that Runick has played a part in when it comes to deck creation and creativity. Now, before Runick, did we splice decks together? Absolutely. But it was usually just two archetypes would be put together, and then you would fill it all with hand traps. The thought process of putting three archetypes together, right, and having them all play out in a fantastic way is something that was not been thought of by the player base for the longest time. So that's what I want to say, is that definitely Runick introduced one of the most interesting decks, I would say, in Yu-Gi-Oh history, which is Runick for Hire Sprite. Make no mistake, and for me, is my hot take, I would class Runick for Hire Sprite as the hardest deck to pilot compared to T-Elements Ishizu. And while, yes, I know it's a hot take, but the way I see it is that T-Elements, with T-Elements, right, it's all about a lot of memorization. All cards do the same thing, right? And essentially you just shuffle, it's all about shuffling to refuse or shuffling with Ishizu to return things. At the end of the day, all effects revolve around shuffling. But with Runick for Hire Sprite, there's so many moving parts and moving pieces in that deck. It's not necessarily just about activating a Runick Quick Play spell and calling it a day. You've got to know when to special summon the Sprite cards in. When does the for hire part come in? Try to not lock yourself with Runicks, as you can't go into your battle phase when you activate Runicks. When you have Sprite, you got to make sure that you have a level 2 so that you can special summon them easily. When you've got for hire, you've got to make sure you have different types on the field so that you can successfully make fall go. There's a lot of things to consider, and there's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration when making plays with a Runick for Hire Sprite. Loads of thought process need to come in mind. And that's not even adding to the fact that you've also got to add hand traps as well into that archetype, if you have space for them, or take that in consideration. So that is what I really want to say about Runick. And I think that's all I've got to say in this video. Tune in next time as I talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh master. My fate, right, is in your hands.